The grid leak resistor has been removed from the radio. And there's a reason for that. It's called Wiggy. Wiggy, 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 Wiggy. He saw what I did here. I took two 2.4 meg resistors, and I came up with 1.3 megs. And what I really needed was 2.0 megs or 2 megs. Well, he sent me a private message. He said, you know, John, he started out, oh, you did good putting the caps on the ends, and that was really cool, and you put them in parallel and got the wattage, I've been a supervisor for years, people. You start out, oh, you're doing a good job, and then you have to lower the hammer, Well, anyway, Wiggy says, you're only, 1.3 is not good enough. You've been slacking. He did so many words. He said, John, you've been slacking. This is a slack job. You need to do better. You need to increase the resistance. Okay, fine. Okay, Wiggy. Okay. So what we're going to do is I didn't have what I needed to really increase the resistance around 2 megs. But I went home and I dug through all my stuff and all my crap, and I was able to come up with a carbon resistor and a carbon film resistor, and I came fairly close. I found a 4.7 and a 3.9, and that gives me 2.1, or it's supposed to be 2.1. So let's find out what the actual resistance is going to be. Now, keep in mind they're not exactly what they're supposed to be. No resistor measures exactly what the color code says. Plus, once we get it in these caps, we have additional resistance. So let's see what that comes out. Okay. All right. There it is. 2.3 megs. 2.3. Now that should make Wiggy happy. Well, that's what we're going to do. I am going to take these caps off of the original grid resistor I made, and I'm going to cut this one down to size and put the caps on those. And I'll show you what it looks like when I get done. Okay, the old grid leak resistor is now put back together, and I just cleaned it with some alcohol. Looking real good. So what we need to do now is give this thing a measurement and see what we actually have. Let me get the leads hooked up and I'll come right back. Well, there we be. 2.3 megs. 2.3 megs. Well, better than 1.3, I guess. 2.3. Alright, that should wrap up everything for this. Now we'll go ahead and stick this back in the radio. And we're just about ready to put some power to it, so I think I better Wiggy on out of here. Well, here we are. We're getting ready to put everything together and bring up some power on this thing to see if we get some tubes to light. But right now, what we're going to do is hook up the antenna wires to the back. Now, the way these antenna wires hook up, there is a lever button down here that you press. There's 2 of them. You press them both and they go up and down. And when you press them up and down, it creates a hole. I don't know. See it? This one right there. And when you push it down, you stick your wire in there and release it, and it jams it in, just like this one's already in. So I'll go ahead and do that here in a second. Alright, both of them are now in. Now on the inside it tells you which one is ground and which one is antenna. There it is right there. The one on the left says antenna. Let's see if I can get a light over here a little better for you. The one on the left, you may not have a tag on yours. It may have been removed or fallen off. You never know. But the one on the left, as you look at it from the front of the rig, the one on the left is the antenna. This one is the ground. Now the next thing we have to hook up is our speaker. And again, we have the same kind of connection hookup. Exactly the same. We got a couple of push button deals that go up and down. There's one right there. Let me use a pencil so you can see it. There's one right there. And there's the other one right there. So the speaker wires will come in through this large hole, and they'll feed across and be connected to those connectors right there. That's our next step. It's time to check out the speaker, which I've never messed with. The two wires coming from the speaker are right here. That squeaking in the background, by the way, is our dog playing with his ball. Anyway, I've got the two meter leads hooked to the two the ends on. When you get one of these speakers, if you ever buy one, try to get one that has that end on it, because that end is what plugs into that speaker connection down there. It just slips right in. Otherwise, you got to mess with a soldered lead or put some kind of other deal on it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and ohm out this thing. You're getting an exact real-time deal with me here. Alright, it's hooked up. Let's go ahead and, that's the 200 ohm scale. That's the 2000 ohm scale. We're getting 723 ohms. I'm not sure if that's good or not. Let's take a 9-volt battery and put it across the leads and see if we get any sound out of it. I disconnected the alligator clips from the multimeter lead, and I've got the negative hooked to the negative of the 9-volt battery. And what I'm going to do is just take the other one, and I've got them still hooked up to the leads on the speaker. I'm just going to go ahead and touch it. Alright, we're getting some sound out of it. I don't know how well it's going to work though. Seems to me I read somewhere that someone said the field coils on these things should be like 2000 ohms. If it doesn't work very well, there is a procedure on the internet at atwaterkent.info, and I can tear this thing apart, and usually using that procedure, if need be, check the whole thing out from top to bottom. He shows you how to completely disassemble it and how to check the whole thing. It's a great deal. So let's get ready to put some juice to this thing. Well, I got to tell you, I'm really apprehensive about this. As I've said, I've never worked on one of these. I have not yet turned it on. I've got everything to the left here. I turned everything to the left, which means the gangs of the variable capacitor are closed. This is all the way to the left. That's a volume control, I guess. And everything's hooked up. The antenna's hooked up. The speaker's hooked up. Alright, let's do it. Isolation transformer on. Voltage cranked to 0. Variac on. And I assume this switch to the right is when it's on. Here we go. Fire in a hole. Let's bring up the voltage. Watch that current draw. I'm very concerned about that current draw. Let me see if I can do this. I want to be able to watch see if I'm getting any filament glow at the same time. We are on the 1 volt scale right here. I mean the 1 amp scale right here. So far we're doing pretty good. We're up to 70 volts. I don't see any filament voltage. I mean, no filaments lighting up, which is not cool. Should be something going on. No, I mean, we are drawing current. You can see there's no filament glow yet. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, we are. We're getting filament glow out of this tube right here. Let's go up a little higher. No sound from the speaker yet. I don't see filament glow from anything else. That's a real problem. No filament glow. I may have to take that apart and check out all the contacts. Bummer. Let's go up a little bit higher. Less than 0.4 and still no filament glow. I don't know, maybe these knobs have something to do with filament glow. I don't know. Let's crank it up and see if that affects. Oh, yeah, we're getting the rectifier filament. That's an 80 tube right there. Let's turn up the volume. Let's go a little bit higher on the voltage, up to about 122. Not, ooh, we're getting some sound. That's not very much, but it is sound. I think it might have something to do with inoperative tubes here. Let's go a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and tune around here, see what I can come up with. It turns out that the audio output tube and the detector and the rectifier, the filaments for those tubes are separate from the remaining 26, the number 26 tubes, which would be this one, this one, this one, and this one. So each of these, this one, and this one, all have independent lines supplying their filaments, and they are lighting. I do have an output tube lit, I do have the detector lit, and I do have the rectifier lit. So now I need to find out why the 426s, 1, 2, 3, 4, are not lit. And I think it's the green and yellow wire here. And I'll tell you what, boy, I'm having a little trouble sussing it out. So I may have to wind up tack soldering and then through the process of elimination, figure out which two wires feed those 26s. If they were clear and easy to read colors like this, now see the wire I'm looking for, see, it's supposed to be a green and yellow, and there's one of them right there. I'm having a little trouble finding the other one because the colors are so faded, but I'll get her. And until next time, I hope you all come back to see if I finally get this thing functioning. This is John.